There is a hidden war that begins not in battlefields, but in living rooms. Every generation inherits a wound, the silent confusion between love and control, between tenderness and domination. Fathers become weak not because they wish to be, but because they were never shown what true strength is. Mothers become willful not because they are evil, but because they are forced to fill a void left by absent or broken men. And the children, innocent and radiant, are caught between those two unfinished souls, learning how to survive in a house without harmony. This is how the hypnosis of the world begins, in the home. A father yells in frustration. A mother manipulates through guilt. A child learns that to be loved is to please, and to be punished is to be seen. That child grows into an adult who no longer knows how to feel without performing for approval. Their every gesture becomes an adaptation, every emotion a reflex inherited from the pain of others. And so the wheel turns. The sins of the fathers become the fears of the sons. The resentments of the mothers become the confusion of the daughters. We call it life, but it is really a slow forgetting, the forgetting of innocence. Roy Masters once said that the most dangerous emotion is not hatred, not lust, but resentment. Because resentment binds you to the very thing you despise. You cannot hate something without absorbing it. You cannot rebel against darkness without letting it define your light. Every act of rebellion born of anger only tightens the chain you believe you are breaking. Look around. The world thrives on that chain. Governments rule by fear. Advertisers manipulate through envy. Lovers control through guilt. Humanity has become a theater of reactions, each person hypnotized by another's weakness. We live through the emotional reflections of one another, like mirrors reflecting mirrors, infinite but empty. And the cost of this is staggering. A boy grows up without a father's strength, and so he becomes addicted to pleasure, to stimulation, to anything that makes him feel alive. A girl grows up without a father's presence, and so she becomes drawn to men who mirror her father's absence. She loves those who cannot love her. Both are searching for the same thing, the lost image of truth. But truth is not inherited through words, it is transmitted through being. A child does not need a perfect parent, only a parent who is real, unreactive, and grounded in awareness. When a father can look upon rebellion without anger, and a mother can love without control, a new cycle begins. The family becomes a small temple again, a place where souls remember themselves. This, however, is rare. Most homes are spiritual laboratories of resentment. The husband resents the wife's dominance. The wife resents the husband's weakness. Each secretly depends on the other's flaw to justify their own. The result is a subtle dance of power, a psychic exchange in which nobody wins. The woman feels unloved, so she dominates to feel secure. The man feels powerless, so he seeks pleasure to escape. The children absorb both energies, and their innocence becomes the battlefield where this ancient war continues. Civilization calls it modern life. Scripture calls it the fall of man. But if there is a fall, there must also be a way to rise again. Resentment begins as a spark, almost invisible. Someone wounds your pride, ignores your voice, or humiliates you when you needed understanding. You feel a pulse of heat. You tell yourself, I will never be like them. But that decision, born of emotion, is the seed of the curse, because in that moment you are already like them. You are reacting. You have accepted their power to define you. The mind says it is taking control, yet it is only mirroring the very energy it hates. That is how evil multiplies, through emotional imitation disguised as strength. The parent who once intimidated becomes the child who intimidates. The child who once feared becomes the lover who controls. And the cycle continues, powered by the same current of resentment. Every act of defiance becomes obedience to the hidden law of reaction. Resentment is fatal because it feels righteous. It convinces you that your anger is justice, that your bitterness is truth. But resentment is not clarity. It is self-poison administered as medicine. It whispers, asterisk, Hold on to this. This is how you stay alive. And so you grip the knife that bleeds you. When you live in resentment, the body obeys emotion instead of awareness. Your nervous system becomes a battlefield. Hormones burning like gasoline, thoughts racing to justify the fire. Soon you cannot tell the difference between feeling alive and being consumed. You call excitement, love, tension, purpose, exhaustion, devotion. And you wonder why peace feels foreign, why stillness feels like death. Look at our culture, addicted to outrage, fueled by grievance. The louder we shout about freedom, the less free we become. Because freedom is not the absence of restraint, it is the absence of inner compulsion. And compulsion always begins with resentment. Forgiveness, then, is not moral virtue, it is neurological liberation. To forgive is simply to stop reacting. It is to see the wrong, feel the sting, and remain still enough to let truth act through you. No drama, no pride, no performance. Just presence. Presence is the antidote to fatal emotion. When fathers lose awareness, strength collapses into aggression or passivity. When mothers lose humility, love collapses into control or sacrifice. And when children grow inside that polarity, they inherit the confusion of both. A boy raised by resentment learns that power equals dominance. He mistakes fear for respect and pleasure for love. Later he wonders why every victory feels hollow. A girl raised by resentment learns that affection equals control. She mistakes attention for safety and guilt for intimacy. Later she wonders why every romance turns to ash. The modern home has become a theater of reversed gravity. Fathers apologize for existing. Mothers lead through anxiety. Children parent their parents. Society applauds it as progress, not realizing that emotional chaos disguised as equality is still slavery, just with prettier chains. The divine order was never tyranny. It was harmony. A structure where responsibility flows downward and love flows upward. Man mirrors heaven through principle. Woman mirrors earth through nurture. The child stands between, learning balance. Break that balance, and heaven collapses into the home. Yet awareness can rebuild it. A man becomes truly masculine not when he dominates, but when he stands calm in the storm, when he refuses to be provoked by chaos. A woman becomes truly feminine not when she obeys, but when she embodies grace without resentment, when her strength uplifts rather than conquers. Together they form polarity without war, difference without inequality, unity without confusion, and from that union, children glimpse God in human form. This is what masters called redemption within the family. It is not about perfection, it is about awareness flowing through imperfection. When one member awakens, the entire field begins to heal. The father regains presence, the mother regains peace, the child regains innocence. The generational trance weakens. Every civilization decays the same way. Men forget how to be still. They trade conscience for comfort, purpose for pleasure, truth for popularity. They build towers of distraction so high that silence becomes unbearable. And in that noise, resentment finds its throne. But the way out is not revolution. It is revelation. A single moment of honest seeing can undo centuries of conditioning. Sit quietly. Notice the pulse of irritation that rises when someone contradicts you. Feel the tension in your chest, the impulse to defend, the heat of the old wound. Do nothing. Just watch. That watcher is the true self, the one who never fell. Stay with that awareness long enough and the storm loses its authority. You will see that emotion is only energy distorted by misunderstanding. When the misunderstanding dissolves, the same energy becomes compassion. The same fire that once destroyed your peace now fuels your clarity. The serpent becomes light. From that moment, every ordinary act becomes sacred. Speaking truth becomes effortless. Correction becomes kindness. Love becomes intelligence instead of need. And family, once the cradle of resentment, becomes the classroom of awakening. History will tell you that nations rise and fall by armies and politics. But the unseen truth is simpler. Nations rise and fall by the state of the family. Every empire is built from living rooms. Every civilization is the echo of its children's eyes. So heal the home, and you heal the world. Refuse resentment, and you end the oldest war. Be still, and you remember the order that never died. The fatal emotions fade not through struggle but through light. Where awareness enters, hypnosis ends. And in that silence, love returns, quiet, fearless, unprovoked. This is how humanity rises again.